Hi again, guys. Tonight I'm going to do a different type of video. So some of my favorite subscriptions on YouTube, I see a couple of them, have videos on, their top movies in a specific genre, etc. So I decided that I wanted to do a video with my top vampire movies. Like let's say horror or supernatural. I'm going to say vampire movies. The movies are all about vampires. Um, because I love a couple of them so much, I can't really have them in any sort of order. Like, oh, number one is definitely this, number two is definitely this. I mean, in the past, if you asked me, I probably would have said Queen of the Dam is number one. But right now I can't say it anymore. Because I don't know. The years have made wise, and there are a lot of other movies that are that awesome too. So let me just get on with the list. So my top movies, I'm just going to wing it. I haven't written them down on paper. I'm just going to go off the top of my head. Hopefully I don't forget any. Yeah, cause I'm not somebody, I don't really like rewatch movies, or shows or whatever. If I watch it once, like 90% of the time, that's the only time I'll ever watch it, unless I see it come on TV again. But anyway, first one I'm going to talk about is Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is one of my all-time favorite vampire movies, like ever. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but yeah, Twilight has no place on this list, okay? No place. It will not go on this list, okay? I have a confession. Yes, I have watched Twilight, and I did somewhat enjoy the second and last movie for reasons, not because the movie is like good and whatever, just reasons why I enjoyed it. I'm not going to go into the reasons because this is not going to turn into anything about Twilight, because Twilight does not belong on this list for a lot of reasons. Yeah, but Bram Stoker's Dracula, my gosh, that movie was spectacular. Um, in many ways, it paved the way. That an interview in the interview with the vampire, that paved the way for like really epic vampire films. I mean there aren't much epic vampire films out there, but those are like, in my opinion, on the top. Um, the way how they did Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula, like, it's like they made him have the grotesque elements, but they made him have the romantic and charming elements along with it. So it was really awesome the way he did it, because even though you know that he was this grotesque guy, creature, but when you see how he was with the woman, like right now I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I can't remember the character's names or the actor's name. I know that Winona Ryder played the female lead, but yeah, the way he was with her and the way how he even acted with Keanu Reeves' character, um, it was just, they all did a really good job, and especially Dracula. I mean, his character was like portrayed the best in the whole thing, and I mean, it have to be. I mean, there was this particular scene in it that was just so chilling. Like, I was talking about it up to this week. I saw somebody like what was that? I was watching a video on YouTube, and somebody like had that the snippet of this scene in the movie where he was talking to Keanu Reeves' character, and like, the thirst came over him or whatever, and he basically just like took out those old time razors that guy that barbers used to use, that flip out and whatever. So he's just there, whips that out, slices, turns around, slices his tongue, and just swallows, right? And just the way how he did it, that scene was just epic. Like if it was done any other way, I don't even know, but it was really epic. Yeah, but I'm not going to give away too much. I don't want to give away spoilers for the movies. I just want to, like, just talk about why I think they're epic. Yeah, but they really just get everything. Like if you look up the history of like vampires and Dracula and all of that, you know, Bram Stoker's Dracula really encompasses like most of the folklore and everything about vampires, because you got the Vlad the Impaler, you got the Nosferatu side, you got the romantic side that charismatic romanticize these women and just get hypnotize them side. They get all of that in the one movie. Everything was executed perfectly. After I said all that, you guys probably think that I'm going to say is number one, but you know, it's too much movie stuff on number one for me. I'm sorry, I can't put them. I'm not going to rank it by a number. But next I'm going to talk to you about Interview with the Vampire. Now that one is also based on a book like Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's based on. I know what I should talk about how Bram Stoker's Dracula, the book, was like underrated. I know I read somewhere that they said that barely anybody read that book because they were scared of it or some madness like that. So yeah, and then they made the movie, and then the movie was like immensely popular. But that book was underrated. That's all I have to say. I haven't read the book not because the book is bad or whatever, but I'm not a big reader. I'm not one of those people who take up novels and read them and whatever. Like the only novel I took up on my own volition and read was Blood and Gold by Anne Rice, and I haven't read anything since that. I think I read this Da Vinci Deception, but that's not really a novel. But yeah, so let's talk about now. Interview with the Vampire. That's another good one. The reason why that one is good, it's based on Anne Rice book, and Anne Rice is the ultimate boss at vampire lore and all of those stuff. I mean, in terms of books and all that, she's just the ultimate boss. Bram Stoker is the ultimate boss too, but Anne Rice is like the ultimate boss too. What they did, I haven't read the book for it, but I figured that the book is basically the same thing. Not that in movies they condense the book somewhat, but it have the same general idea. So basically what the movie does is have you see the perspective of the vampire's life, etc. I mean, generally most of the time when they had the vampire movies, it was all about it's always almost like it was from the perspective of the people that are like victims or the other people that the vampire is interacting with, but not about the vampire himself life. While in Interview with the Vampire is like a view from the vampire's perspective. So it's like they have Louis and they have Lestat, and they were played by Louis was played by Brad Pitt and Lestat was played by Tom Cruise. I know that. I mean, come on, they're the bosses. Well, I don't know if they're still. I mean, well, I guess they're great actors, but back then, yes. So basically, the way how they do it is from the perspective like a reporter is like interviewing Louis, and this is like years later, and like Louis is telling the reporter his whole life story. So you see when Louis made into a vampire, you see his makeup, you see all of the struggles and stuff that he goes through, as a vampire, you see it from the vampire's perspective, and you know, I don't think that was that really done before, and even if it was done before, it wasn't done in such an epic way. That's another movie that I think is a must watch. Like anybody who likes supernatural stuff and stuff about vampires, these two movies are must see if you haven't seen it already, because I think most people who are like heavily into this would have seen those two already. Another movie that's in my top would be Dracula 2000. I mean, the storyline wasn't the strongest, but the way how they execute everything, it was a really good movie, and I'd put that in my top two. That one wasn't really from the perspective of a vampire, but it was like from a horror perspective. And setting a modern day type thing, which I think was a really good movie. Yeah, there's not much more I can say about it because I don't want to give away spoilers to the movie. But it was like in a modern day scenario. Yeah. And then there's Queen of the Damned. Queen of the Damned. For a long time, I had that as like my number one movie. I probably, you know, sentimentally will still call it my number one movie because that movie encompassed like everything, a lot of things that I'm really interested in encompass: vampires, Egypt, music, yeah. Plus like there's a point where I had an obsession with Stuart Townsend, and he was in there. And like I really like the character that starts from Anrice's. I think I like Marius more than Lestat, but yeah, I like Lestat. Alea was also in there, and Alea is like one of my all-time favorite singers. Um, well, before she died, where she still is now, but yeah, she died. But yeah, that movie was really about when Lestat basically is like a vampire. Normally, vampires try to hide in the shadows and all of these things, right? They don't want to be known. In Queen of the Damned, Lestat kind of like break those barriers of vampires being in the shadows and all of that. He tries to like, you know, he's bringing to like making people aware that vampires exist and all these things. So that's what made that movie different, and I like that because his avenue for doing that is through music, and also in doing this he awakens Akasha, which is like the source, the first vampire, because in the series of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, um all vampires come from Akasha, and Akasha, well, Akasha and Enkil. Enkil is Akasha's son, and Akasha was created by, was it? She was created, I mean, she was evil or something like that, and then the witches cursed her, and then that's how come she turned into the vampire and all that. Yeah, that's what happened, right? I hope I'm not chatting rubbish right now. Anybody who knows the Vampire Chronicles properly, you guys can't tell. But anyways, when Lestat was doing all that he was doing, and this is like 10 trillion years later, in modern day society and all that, and Lestat is like basically a rock star, and then what he does now, all of his music and all that basically awakens Akasha, because she turned to stone because she was drinking up all of these people, and then she turned into stone because she drank too much blood, and then Lestat was doing all this, and then she hasn't awoken for years, right? And Marius was like in love with her and all that, and she never woke up for him. I mean, he tried, well, in the books she did, but slightly, but she didn't wake up. Did she wake up, or he just fled from her? I don't remember, but the point is she woke up, literally came from the stone because of this I did. I think I rambled too much and told too much of the story, but anyway, the whole point is that he made vampires known to people, and a lot of vampires never warm up to that idea. They never want to be known. They want it to be in the shadows. They don't think vampires should be known. And you know, there's a real love story. I didn't really give away most of the plot, but I just, you know, gave a brief synopsis. Probably would say on the back of the DVD anyway. But yeah, and if you guys read the books, you know that. Yeah, so that's one. Underworld. The Underworld, even though it's not necessarily like vampire, Alone in there, those are good too. The Underworld series. Except I'm not too sure about the last movie, how that is. There's that movie. Don't remember what it's called. I'm just going to talk about those. Those are like my top four for now. Blade. I like Blade, but like there are just some elements of Blade that just, to me, don't stay true to vampirism. I mean, like, the whole folklore of it is like it kind of veering away from it. Like, yes, Underworld kind of veer, but not as much as Blade. Blade is like almost completely gone. So yes, I love Blade, but I wouldn't put it in my top vampire movies. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys have any that you think should be considered one of the top vampire movies, you guys can mention it in the comment section, and tell me why you think so. Who knows, maybe I haven't seen that one. I mean, there's a point where I was like trying to watch every vampire movie there is, but yeah, I don't think I've seen everything. But yeah, I'm really open to seeing what other people think should be in the top. Please, I'm not lashing out against Twilight people, but I've seen Twilight before, and for my reasons, I don't think it should be in the top. So if you're going to put that, don't bother. Not dissing or anything, just don't bother put Twilight. Yeah, but yeah, you guys can just tell me what you guys think. If you like my video, please like it. And please subscribe to my channel and share this video also with your friends. Follow me on Twitter, I follow back, as long as you're not a bot. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, bye.